Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious tome of forgotten lore. Ahem, I said, many a quaint and curious tome of forgotten lore. How about sod off? I just found Naomi Campbell. Oh, okay, yes, fair enough. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's midnight. Go pester some other poor pleb. Ahem. 'Tis some visitor, I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December. It's October. In the bleak October, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. That fireplace hasn't seen a dying ember since the Blitz. I'm setting the mood. If you're not going to help, then please be silent. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore. For the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. Nameless? You just called her Lenore. Shut up! And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door." Apparently Edgar Allan Poe was very fond of repetition. This it is, and nothing more. Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, you never know your luck, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I was scarce sure I heard you." Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Okay, where's my bloody house gone? If this is my punishment for admiring Naomi Campbell's buttocks, let's hope the universe never finds my Rule 34 folder. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. Am I the only one who thought the Borg Queen was kinda cute? But the silence was unbroken, and the darkness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is someone at my window lattice. Let me see then what there it is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore." Oh, 'tis the wind and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Looks like a badly stuffed duck to me. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mane of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. I say, dear boy, is that a statue of Bahamut? Well, yeah. What happened to Pallas? Look, I'm so bloody sorry I don't have an assortment of decapitated Greek deities knocking around. This is what I have. But, Bahamut? Look, it was either this or a figurine of Naomi Armitage, and she's too small for the duck to sit on. All of my hate. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven. Ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Okay, lesson learned. Never put light cheese on a mushroom pizza. Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help but agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast above the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, until I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said,
Nevermore.
Startled at the stillness broken by a reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom a merciful disaster followed fast and followed faster until his song one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then, upon the velvet sinking... Well, velvet? What the fuck do you think I am? Do you have any idea how much Staples would charge for velvet? Yes, normal people, when they're putting together a reading like this, take time out to buy things called props. My friend, I am far from normal. It's leather or nothing. God, I hate you. Then upon the leather sinking, I betook myself to linking. Fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat, engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. Don't worry, that's just heartburn. I told you, man, light cheese and cheese, they don't mix. Who'd have thought it? I mean, they sound so similar. Count to 10, count to 10... This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's leather lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose black leather lining, with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall pass, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed by some unseen censer. Must resist fart joke. Swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch! I cried. Thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee. Respite, respite and nepenthe from my memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil. Whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet undaunted on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly I implore. Is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore. Yeah, right. Tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within a distant Aden, it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend! I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of the lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of Bahamut just above my chamber door, and his eyes, of all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming. And the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul, from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore. Is that it? Well, yes. No closure, just me sat staring at a stuffed duck? No final word, no epilogue, nothing? Well, no. That's how the poem ends, with the protagonist alone in his chamber lamenting his lost love, and stricken with grief at the knowledge that he will never see her again in this life or the next. That's, quite depressing when you think about it. My dear fellow, it's not meant to be a cheerful jaunt through the tulips. It's a poem about a talking raven's mysterious visit to a distraught lover, tracing the man's slow fall into madness. Okay, now you're just quoting Wikipedia. It's a Gothic-style narrative poem from the mid-19th century with a supernatural storyline that plays upon the scenario that we must all face at some point in our lives. Vis-a-vis the loss of a loved one and the nature of our brief mortality. It's not supposed to have a happy ending. I beg to differ.